Noshir, I was seeing that you were quite in agreement with the points that both Piyush and Praveen made, especially with respect to doing CSR in a more organized way. Can you tell me how can we get corporates to be more serious about their CSR?
I mean, a common refrain that I hear from corporates is that end of the day, now they have made CSR something like a compulsory charity tax. And this is literally quote unquote from some companies that, I mean, it's far more easier. Some additional tool for health, education, and while give it, but I mean, you're making me do impact, making me do monitoring and evaluating, you're making me go through all this rigmarole. I mean, it's easier for me if I give you 2% as my charity tax and be done with it. And certainly SMEs, small industries are literally saying, I mean, the easiest way perhaps for me is to give it to PM CARES or Prime Minister's National Relief Fund, and that's it. After that, if I give it 4 or 50 lakhs, nobody's going to, did you do impact assessment? Did you do monitoring and evaluation? I gave it and my compliance is over. And this is also a reality. So how do we make CSR interesting enough for me? First of all, please understand that India is probably among just 1 or 2 countries that has mandated CSR. Even in the US and UK, it is not mandated, and yet companies do it and make it an important component of their business. Why? Because they see an enlightened interest in doing CSR. There is no one who is monitoring them. No one is telling them, have you done an impact? Have you done monitoring and evaluation? Do you have a CSR committee? Have you spent 2%? None of that. And look at the CSR, those MNCs all over the world. And you will find that CSR is given that importance because they see CSR as an investment in the economy. It's an investment in the community. Companies do realize that you cannot have islands of prosperity in a sea of poverty. It's as simple as you got to do invest companies. You cannot say that people will buy my products if the people are poor. You got to ensure that the people rise above a certain economic level. You cannot say that in an uneducated community, my business will thrive. You need on that HR. You need to develop skills. You need to invest in education so that you get that right HR. So CSR is an investment in the community. CSR is an investment in the economy. And this is where we have failed to promote CSR. We have reduced, unfortunately, CSR to a arithmetic. If you meet the risk of turnover, net worth, profit, calculate 2%. As per Schedule 7, these are the things you can do. Make sure there's a CSR committee. Make sure it's a board-driven process. Have you monitored it? Have you evaluated it? Have you done an impact study? Talk of impact. I mean, you want that after 3 years, you want that impact to be done. Do you think impact can be measured after 3 years? Or at least minimum 1 year of completion? Impact sometimes cannot be seen for the next 50 years. Yes, you can evaluate, you can see outcome. You can use a theory of change, but impact is a term. And you make that mandatory. If you are spending more than 10 crores in a year, then impact assessment is necessary for you. You cannot spend more than 5% or 50 lakhs, whichever is less, on impact assessment. How is this going to, how is this arithmetic? Who arrived at these figures and how? Sorry, I get a little carried away with these kind of issues, but I'm just expressing.
Right, Noshir. So I think the bit that you mentioned about impact and quantifying impact rather was quite aptly summarized by Mr. Einstein when he said that not everything that counts can be counted, and not everything that can be counted actually counts.
Let me add to this, the doyen of Indian industry, J.R.D. Tata, at one of the Rotary functions, he was asked long before he died that how would you like to see India? And people thought he'll say, I would like to see India as a superpower, as a super economic. And he says, I would like India to be a happy country. Do not forget of this doyen of Indian industry. I want India to be a happy country. Can you happiness, the happiness quotient which Bhutan is known about? That is the essence of CSR.